Okay, good afternoon, everyone. How was your lunch? Yeah, I guess you still feel a little bit sleepy at this time, I mean. So I made some notes and I kind of forgot, but I'll just go through it. Okay, so our topic is take a look at American culture, and this is a picture that we taken in Mountain Baker, and on the left side is a picture that we taken in cafeteria. And as you can see, the food there in America is quite different. Those are lunch, and what we ate was lunch. So, ooh, okay. So here's the outline. I divided them into 4 parts. First, I'm going to talk about teaching strategy, and it would be pictorial input. And for the second part, it would be club lesson. And after that, I'm going to move to teaching inquiry project. And reflections on the program will be the last part of my presentation today. Okay. So first, teaching strategy. Pictorial input is one of the GLASS strategy, and what is GLASS? It is guided language acquisition design, and we learned that from okay, it's Helen. I don't know if Professor Cat know that, but we sometimes call color, so it's easier for us. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, so there are 5 foundational GLASS strategies, and what I'm going to show you about today is pictorial input chart. And for pictorial input chart, basically there are three parts. I divided them into. So first, in front of the class, the teacher will use colored markers to trace over a pre-drawn pencil outline. And the second, the pictures will be labeled and additional information will be added. And also it will be 10-2 guided oral language strategy. And for 10-2 guided oral language, it means like after 10 minutes teacher talk, it will give students 2 minutes to turn to the partner and talk about this. Okay. And this is the picture that I taken in the United States. And this is the pictorial input chart. And as you can see, there are information added next to the picture. And this is the pictorial input chart that I use in club lesson. And those are the attractions that we shared with Christy. Yeah. Okay, and for the second part is club lesson. And these are the students that we use for remote teaching. There are totally 7 students. And this is our topic, food supermarket, Halloween, and transportation. And I do a questionnaire for the student, ask them about which is your favorite part, and so this is what the questionnaire tells me. Every topic has someone like it. And the topic 2 is supermarket and Halloween. And they're, by the way, totally 7 students, so that's one, okay. And so today I'm going to talk about the supermarket part and Halloween part. For supermarket part, our focus sentence is how does it taste, and it has salty, it has sweet and sour. And okay. And also we bought some food from snacks from America, and we share with the students. They loved it, and they both excited. And I want to introduce the gesture which we learned from America. I really like this part because gesture, I not only use it in our club lesson, I also use it in my English class. There are a slow learner student in my 4th grade, and he was so afraid of speaking English. Every time I ask him something, he just, huh? But he is really good at tempo, so after I added gesture into English, he is happy to speak English in gesture to me. Yeah. So it goes like, how does it taste? It tastes sour. What do you like? I like it taste. So it can be used in many ways. And also, the most popular one is the Halloween lessons. And for the reasons, the students are the same because they say, because there will be DIY, they can make things by themselves. So this is what we meant for that lesson, which is handprint, and they were so happy. And now is the third part of my presentation, which is teacher inquiry project. And I choose to share that teaching English in English because I'm in countries, so the students' English level is not as good as city students. So I still remember the first time I tried to use English to teach, it goes like, huh? And I was like, so it means, huh? So what does mean? It goes like, huh? So I have to draw pictures and take a long time to explain. And if I use Chinese to explain that word, it would take maybe 1 minute. But it took me about 10 minutes to explain in English. So here is a questionnaire, and then let's move for first one and second question. The first question, I like Joyce use whole English in class. And so goes like 50 and agree 35. And I feel uncomfortable if Joyce only use English in class and it goes like 21% strongly agree. So I feel uncomfortable a little bit. And it helped me improve my English listening ability if Joyce use English in class. So it goes like 50% agree, which I'm surprised and I'm happy. And it helped me understand more if Joyce draw pictures when explaining. It's like 70% strongly agree. And for the fifth and sixth questions, the fifth one, I hope Joyce use whole English in class. It's like, strongly disagree. Please do not do this. We'll see. And for number 6, I hope Joyce use whole English only in part of the lesson, and it goes like 64% strongly agree. So, according to the questionnaire, I think they like me to use English to teach English, but only part of the lesson, not whole class. So maybe we can do part of it and more part of it, bigger part of it, maybe. And then also you tell me that pictures helps. All right. Yeah, the last part of my presentation. It's about the reflections on the program. So first one, what's different about this workshop? I think I feel more involved in the workshop. I went to America and learned with other friends there, and the lessons, the classes are new for me, and I'm more willing to learn and to listen. Kind of, because there are workshops in Taiwan sometimes, but part of it you might feel interesting, and part of it might because you are assigned to go there, so I don't know. And for the second one, what did I get from this trip? Of course, I learned some special teaching ways, and I learned some culture experience, and I got to went to a lot of class. And the most important of all, I met a lot of friends. Okay, so it's not about learning English, but also culture. And so this is my, okay. The best part of this program is, besides experience the local culture, focus on professional development. The most important thing for me, I think, is that I got to meet a lot of great friends. So I want to do it. And yeah, okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Jennifer Lai from Qinshan Elementary School. So these are the contents I will share today. The first one is teaching strategy, the second one is cloud lesson, and the third part is the teacher inquiry. And these are the cloud lesson students of the cloud lesson. So we use the 6th grader students, and they have 9 students in the class. So the English learning situation of that class is that their listening and their reading is like in the average level. And their speaking and writing is that they're in the low level. So the most important thing is that they have a low motivation in learning English. This is the situation in English classroom. So now I'm going to share some strategy I would like to use from this project. So the first one is yes/no questions. So I always like to use this strategy when in the vocabulary. So I always ask students, is this a cat? So students need to answer yes or no. So in the beginning of this part, I always use yes question. So yes questions always help students to make a connection. And then when the students get familiar with the vocabulary, I use some no questions for the students. So the no questions help students to make a distinction. So when the students hear, by the process of the yes/no questions, students can hear a lot of times the target word. So we can make a good repetition of the word. And the second strategy I would like to introduce is the role play. So for the calc lesson, I use a lot of role play for the students. So for this strategy, I combine with I do, we do, and you do. So for I do part, sometimes Christy will show a video that she's taken in America. Also, sometimes I will do a sample with Christy. That's the I do part. And the we do part is that Christy practice after I do. So Christy will invite all the students to do again with her. And then the you do part, that is Christy practice with the partners. And then the last part is the role play. So role play, Christy will be an actress and the student will be a guest. And this lesson we will introduce later. So this is the jazz chants. So I use a lot of jazz chants in the calc lesson. So jazz chants, Christy makes an example of the jazz chants, and right now students just need to listen. And then the we do part, Christy practice with all the students. And then you do that, students need to do it themselves. And then I like the jazz chants because it is good to use in the sentence pattern, and because we give it some tempo, like how does it taste? It tastes sweet. So we give it some tempo, so students is easy to remember the sentence pattern. And then it's easy for the teacher to make some repetition for the students. Okay, so the next strategy is Kahoot. So for the Kahoot part is that teacher needs to design the questions in advance. And then students need to get the code to enter the game. And students need to choose the correct answer. So I love the Kahoot because Kahoot is a game and also a quiz for the students. And then students can get immediately points. It depends on how fast they answer the correct answer. And then it is really flexible because teachers can design the question themselves. So I would like to share some calc lesson we did with Christy. So first, this is ordering food in McDonald's. For the first part, we use some vocabulary we choose some vocabulary. And the second part is the conversation. So students need to practice this conversation. And A is for waitress, and B is for guest. So students are B. And then we combine this lesson with American's currency. So students get a task. The task is that students need to order the food from Christy. So students need to order a food and then show the correct money to Christy. And the second one I want to share is the American snacks. So for the vocabulary part, I say limes are sour, and soy sauce are sour, and passion fruit are sour. So I would say plums are sour, passion fruit is sour. So the student need to guess what does sour mean. So they can answer me in Chinese, and I would check it. And the second part is the video. Third part is just chance, like how does it test? It tests sour. What do we like? We like less. And then the second part, we try to make the students to make a sentence themselves. And the third one is for transportation. The words part, I combine it with TPR. So Christy will do an action like, what is this? And students need to answer by car. And then we do the just chance, how do you go to school? I go to school by car. And the third one, we do the poster. So we have some vocabulary, and the student needs to choose the car to put it in the right place. And then we do the worksheet that we pretend that Christy is going to Taiwan, and how does she go to Xinshan Elementary School? So students need to cut it down and put it in the correct order. And then we do the Kahoot. Kahoot is also a game and a quiz that we can check students if they understood the lesson. And the Halloween we do four parts. The first one is story. It's Christy share a little story about Halloween. And then we do a yes/no question to the students. And here are the cosplay that we do with Christy. And the last one is that we do the crafts. Christy teach the students a craft. And the last part is my teaching inquiry. So my teacher inquiry is that if the students will rely on my translation, or if I will have not enough time, and the slower learner, it will give up really easily. And so my intervention is that I do a demonstration and talk slowly. Every time I need students to do something, I talk 2 times. And the students can follow my demonstration and they can do it. So next one is the activity boost motivation. So I use some activities. It can boost students' motivation to learn English. And then create a successful learning experience. So sometimes give students some compliments is really important. And for my data collection is like, so for my data collection, I ask the home teachers help. The home teacher will help me to record how much times does the student speak English in the classroom. So this is the midterm, the blue part is their midterm exams grade. And the orange part is how much did they participate in the club lesson. So this is my data collection. Okay, thank you for your listening.
Hello. Hi. Okay. How's everyone doing? Good? Okay. So I'm going to talk about teaching in Taiwan. So I wanted to say, before I came here, I had done some other internships before, but this was the first one that I was really interactive with. The ones that I have done before, I would come and I would be like a human tape recorder. They just wanted me to speak, and so they could hear my pronunciation. And so this one was the one that I actually got to interact with students, and I got to see them and be hands-on, and I actually got to teach, as opposed to the teacher teaching, and I'm just there to assist them. So I really like this program. So I know I only have 6 minutes, so I will try to keep it very brief, because I can't talk about everything, because there was so much to see and so many things that I did, and Joyce and Jennifer were so nice to me, and I loved all the kids. They were so cute. So I'm just going to talk about 3 lessons from each school that I thought was the highlight for me, the one that I learned the most from, So first I went to Nanxing, and that is Joyce's school. It was so small, only 29 students. They had 2 campuses, which I thought was really interesting. They were very friendly, and they were all really good at doing music, playing instruments. It was really, really cool. So one thing that I thought was really interesting that Joyce did, that I thought was a great idea, because all the kids wanted to talk to me, right? And so, even the younger ones, and they can't really speak English that well. The older ones can speak better, but especially the little guys, they don't, they want to talk, but they can't. So Joyce made these questions and put them on little strips of paper, so that they could just come up and ask me. Sometimes they just, hand it to me. They're like, oh, try. But that way they got to interact with me, because before they were just like, hi, and then run away. So this way they could actually talk to me. So the Christmas lesson I really liked. It was with 3rd and 4th graders. I talked about Christmas tree decorations. I showed them pictures from my family, talked about American culture, and it was really interesting to do this because I was working with younger students. Before I was only working with 6th graders, so it was interesting to try and make it more simple for them. And it was a really, really great lesson, and something that I really learned from this, after the lesson, Joyce came up and she did a quiz game, which I didn't think to do. And they were already involved, but after that, they were like, oh, I know. So I was like, oh, that's good, I should make more games. It helps them to be more interactive. Gingerbread house, they loved making a gingerbread house. This was for 3rd to 6th graders, and we talked about candy, vocabulary, and we did Kahoot, and that was the first time that I was using my own Kahoot, and they really, really liked it, so I thought it was really good for a review, and it was so much fun. Then we did transportation, and this was for 3rd graders, and we talked about how I came to Taiwan, and we did the jazz chant, and it had to be very simple for them because they didn't understand as much as the 6th graders. But I realized that TPR is a lot easier to do in person than over Zoom. So this was a really good one that I liked. Next is Xinshan. Hopefully I said that right. It had 53 students. They were all very welcoming. They had class pets, some dogs they took in. And the teachers could actually speak English. I was really surprised, like other teachers. So we did a flags lesson for 1st and 2nd grade. They just had learned colors and how to spell. So we looked at some little flags like America and Taiwan and France and Germany. And they had a little button making machine, so they got to draw the flag and make it into a button. And these guys were real little, so we had to use very simple English. And I was really learning how to accommodate for each grade, how to simplify or make it more complex for each grade. So this was my favorite one, the American Money and Food. This was for 3rd and 4th grade, and we were ordering food and learning about dollars and cents. And this one was my favorite because the kids seemed to be like the most interactive. I got to show them real money, and they had little cutouts of money, and so I could ask them, like, what is this? And they would all say, oh, like it's 25 cents, 25 cents, so they could all show me. And we got to incorporate a little bit of math because they had just learned decimals. So I said, show me $2.50. And they all got out their $2 and the 2 quarters. So they were really interactive with that, and they got to, actually talk with me. Some more gingerbread houses. We also did this with Jennifer's classes. They really liked it. But yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I learned so much, and everybody was so welcoming and always was giving me food and coming up to me and trying to talk to me, and it was a really great experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina and Joyce and Jennifer. It's happy to see that kids are really